12 Hills Nature Center has come a long way. The land, once occupied by dilapidated apartments, is now fulfilling the vision of resourceful neighbors who've reclaimed it. Local residents, students, and community volunteers have worked together to restore the habitat, maintain gardens, and support education and outreach programs. Those essential services are provided by an all-volunteer nonprofit. Today, 12 Hills is a place where residents of the diverse Oak Cliff community and all of Dallas can come together to observe, learn about, and relax in nature. The evolution of 12 Hills spans half a century. In the late 1950s, a series of apartment buildings were built on roughly 20 acres in North Oak Cliff and came to be called the 12 Hills Apartments. By the 1980s, the apartments had become crime-ridden, were deteriorating, and the community had begun calling for their demolition. A decade later, the city tore down the apartments. Then came the grassroots effort to create a nature center. Community organizers began working together with neighborhood and government representatives, habitat restoration experts, and a private developer to formulate a plan to save part of the land for a natural area. They gathered 900 signatures on a petition supporting the formation of a preserve, secured nonprofit status in 2003, and succeeded in rezoning 5 acres of land from the original site. As part of the rezoning, a conservation easement and deed restrictions were placed on the land, so it can only be used for low-impact recreation or as an environmental or scientific education area. The first step toward reclaiming 12 Hills was to evaluate the property. What did 12 Hills hope to find in the Blackland Prairie ecosystem? What was left of the apartments that would need to be removed? In 2005, with the help of a generous grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, habitat restoration, including soil enrichment, seeding, and nature education, began. Volunteers completed plant, bird, and butterfly surveys. With a species list in hand, the next step was to manage the desirable as well as the undesirable plants. A tree service safely removed mature trees of invasive species such as chinaberry and tree of heaven. Volunteers have and will continue to be essential to the ongoing restoration effort. They learn about and then remove invasive species such as privet and thistles. Removal of invasive species increases the diversity of beneficial native plants. Every spring and fall, students, community members, and area naturalists help collect the seeds of native prairie grasses and wildflowers. The seeds are then redistributed throughout the preserve. Today, 12 Hills has become an expanse of native wildflowers, and the slower-growing native grasses are gradually increasing in abundance. As part of the ongoing management of the property, there are volunteer activities appropriate for all ages. Children and students have made and scattered seed balls. Citizen scientists have created and maintain ongoing lists of plant and animal species. Adult volunteers do the heavy lifting on projects such as the removal of invasive species by the pickup truck full. In addition, landscape architects and other professionals contribute their time and talents to the Nature Center. They've created the butterfly garden and beautiful stone entryway, which draw visitors into the quiet, protected spaces of the urban prairie. Through the use of native plants and porous paving, the entry design also serves as an example of sustainable landscaping. 12 Hills Nature Center strives to provide an opportunity to experience, observe, and appreciate the restored native Blackland prairie. It changes from season to season, and educating our young people about it is among the most important goals. 12 Hills has organized an after-school program called Nature Leaders. It occurs annually for 14 weeks each spring. Teachers and master naturalists educate 20 fifth graders about the Blackland prairie ecosystem and teach them how to lead nature walks.
Si podemos mirar aquí más adelante, aquí hay una poquita de agua. Y este stream es muy especial porque aquí...
Since when I saw the first nature leader, I always thought that I wanted to be one because that looked very fun, that looked very interesting, and I just really enjoyed it. I felt like if I wanted to be one so badly, since when I saw the first one, I've been thinking it for years, and that actually came true to me.
It's actually really cool to just see how much interest other people take in what we've learned.
We can teach them about all of the plants and everything that we've learned so far. And some of our parents are not really nature freaks as we are. So we can just take them out here and just show them a little bit what we've been learning for the past 2-3 months.
Near the end of the school year, all classes come to 12 Hills, and the student nature leaders guide their classmates in observation and conversation about the prairie ecosystem. More importantly, they model their own interest in nature to their peers and take the first steps towards mentoring others. By learning about nature in their own neighborhood, these local students are developing a connection to the natural world, creating a foundation for environmental stewardship and kindling a lifelong interest in conservation. Their teachers will tell you that it also helps them in their science studies. In addition to formal programs, teachers are using 12 Hills as a learning lab. Several schools within easy walking distance have developed self-guided field trips and incorporated hands-on outdoor learning into their curriculums. Students from kindergarten through community college have supplemented their classroom learning at 12 Hills. Nature education isn't just for kids. 12 Hills has become a popular destination for guided nature walks, night hikes, and other learning opportunities for all ages. And like a backyard or a favorite park, it's a place that can be shared with friends or explored alone to immerse oneself in an urban prairie oasis. The preserve is set within a densely populated area, and many nearby residents, often with families and pets, include a visit to 12 Hills in their daily routine, enjoying an escape from urban life. They learn to appreciate a native landscape, and hopefully they will take that knowledge home, incorporating native plants into their residential landscapes, creating more habitat for native species. With vision, effort, and determination, unutilized space within a community can be reclaimed and transformed from an eyesore into a public treasure. And in the process, many things can blossom along with the wildflowers. Community spirit and teamwork, education for all ages, and a reconnection with the natural world. As John Muir said, when one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world.